Item number 6, our Planning Building Department Building License Software presentation presented by Brian Hansen, our Senior IT Analyst. Brian, you brought us a live version of this?
No.
Oh.
I know better than to do live demos.
Okay.
So, good evening, Mayor, members of the council. I am going to give you just a quick sneak peek of our new citizen portal that's part of the Acela package that we're implementing. Give you a little insight of what it's going to look like and kind of some of the functionality, and then we'll follow that up with an announcement of when we're actually going live. So, to get started, this is kind of a proposed look for the site itself. Working on colors right now, just a general overview. I'm not going to touch too much on aesthetics right now, more on functionality, but this is just giving you an idea of what it's going to look like. So the main part of the Citizen Portal is creating a user account so that people can manage the business they're doing with the city. So here you have a login, or you can register as a new user. I've already created a registration for myself, so I've logged in here. And I come to my dashboard. You see here I have my collections. Collections are basically, think of them like folders. It's basically the work I'm doing with the city. I can organize it myself, so that's easier for me to keep track of it. And you'll notice at the bottom is I have some work in progress here. So this is an application that I'm in the process of submitting, but I haven't fully submitted. So I can start up an application, gather some more information, and then restart that application without losing anything. So we're going to go ahead and look at the building section of this. You'll notice on the building section that I have my my permit that is in progress that I'm still filling out, and then I have one that is already in the stages of being used and is in the plan review. So you'll notice the status stated right there. So for this, I'm just going to show you a quick application. So up here on the application section, if you click on that, you're going to get our standard disclaimer. This isn't the exact wording that's going to be, but they'll have to agree to what they're proposing online. Because I set up my account and I have a contractor license associated with myself, it auto-fills in that contractor information, so I don't have to fill it in every time I submit a permit. And then I got to select my permit type. So it's a little hard to see here, but for this application, I'm doing a solar permit. So I'll just show you some of the details of a solar permit, because those are fairly common. First thing is tying the permit to an address. So the Acela software is tied to our GIS on the back end. So when you fill out an address, it automatically searches the GIS and populates the parcel information and the owner information. So it helps fill in things a lot quicker and keeps things more in line with our existing data. Next is the contact information, the applicant. Again, takes this from the GIS or from my profile on the Citizen Portal. And again, the licensed professional auto-filled in because it's my account. If I wasn't a licensed professional, I'd be choosing a licensed professional to perform the work there. And now I get to name my application. So I just gave it a really brief rooftop solar install with a description. I'm installing a 50 kilowatt solar system on top of the police department. Police isn't here, so they don't get credit for that. And then because this is a solar permit, this is very hard to see, but basically all the questions for the permit are associated with a solar permit itself. So it asks the correct questions based off of the type of permit you're filling out. So it makes it a lot easier for the person filling out the permit. And here's where the really important part. This is where you can submit your online plans. So
Tell me it's not so. Really?
No, really. So right now I've submitted some construction plans. These can be PDFs, they can be images, they can be AutoCAD files, whatever's needed for the application, they can be attached here without having to bring them in, print them out, and make a trip to City Hall. And the type is determined by the person submitting it, so you get to choose and let the city staff know what type of document you're attaching to your application. And then a quick review just kind of goes over everything that you've filled out to this point. And then your application is submitted, and you have a record number there that's tied to it on the back end and the front end. So that's your reference for going back and viewing what you have done, and it's for the back end staff to process your application. And then I'll just click on that view records detail, Again, kind of gives you a brief information about the record itself, tells you the record status is submitted, and it has the expiration date, because our permits do have expiration. If you're not acting on a permit, it automatically expires. So a back-end staff takes that application, they go over what's going on with it, and they apply some fees to that application based off of the type of permit, where it's being done, some other factors. So you'll click on the payments section here, and that'll show you your fees due. So for this particular permit, the fees outstanding are $3,490, and now you have the option to pay those fees. Paying those fees, clicking on that gives you the application fees and gives you a breakdown so you know where that money's going and how much. And then you can continue on with that. And now you have your payment screen that gives you the option to either pay by credit card or by electronic check. Obviously, the city's preference is electronic check, much more efficient on our side, but gives you both opportunities there. Pretty standard if you've done any kind of checkout, any online shopping. And that takes you back to your payments, which now shows that you've actually paid those fees. You can view the details on that fees as well. Now you notice also that the record status has changed to in plan review. So back-end staff has started to process that application, and they're reviewing the documents that you've submitted. So under the record info, you're going to get much more information, and one of them is this processing status. Now this is very important for the person submitting the application. This allows them to see exactly what's happening with their application, what stage it's in, and who's even working on it. So this one's a completed one, so it's already final, but it gives you an idea of, you know, this one's approved by Sharon. This is issued by Arnaldo, and then the inspection was done by Mike Campos. So you can see exactly who's working on it, when they're working on it, and what stages you're at. So again, you don't have to come to City Hall. You don't have to pick up the phone and call anybody. You can review this and keep track of this on your own. Also under the record info is the attachments. Now you'll see a lot more attachments than what we did with the initial application. You have our construction plans, and then you have email correspondences. Each step of the process, certain aspects of it have email notifications. So the applicant will get notified when staff does certain things. So when a plan is reviewed and it's approved, the applicant will get the notice that has been done. But the important thing to notice here is the permit document itself. So if you were to click on that, you can actually get the electronic permit for that application. You can print it out at home. Again, I have to come into the City Hall. And this is just a draft, not final, so this may change the way it looks, but just gives you an idea of what's possible. So that's it in a very brief nutshell. Obviously, there's a lot more things it will do. I didn't touch on business licenses at all, but I just wanted to give you kind of a brief overview of some of the capabilities, and just when can you start using it? That's going to be the question everybody wants to know. January 3rd. So it's the first day that we're back at work, basically, after the holiday break. We'll be providing a link on our website, so users can click on that link, start doing applications, set up a user profile, renew business licenses. All those things will be available January 3rd. And with that, can answer any questions.
Questions? Go ahead.
Through the mayor. Brian, if you already have a permit in the system, will you be able to access that online, or do you have to go and set up a profile and then put in that permit number to do that?
Part of the reason for going live on January 3rd is there's actually going to be a break between our old system and our new system. So anything existing in the old system is going to remain in the old system. There'll be some history pulled over for reference for the staff, but users won't be able to see their existing stuff that they've done in the past. It's just too hard to translate that over from one system to the other. We can link up if you've come to the counter and done a permit and then set up an online account after January 3rd. There are ways to link it up, but it works a lot better if you set up your profile first and initiate those applications and business licenses and stuff through the online portal, because then it's directly tied to your account.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
I don't really have any questions. I just want to thank you for getting on this. I know that our mayor here was very adamant that he thought it would be a good idea to get into the 21st century with this. The staff and everybody knew that it was going to be a big task to move this forward. And I know that people had, through the year, come to me and had, had difficulties with some of these processes that you're talking about, just because coming in and having to wait and discuss, sometimes people are out and even inspecting and just different. So it was very difficult, just everybody being able to meet, and this is going to streamline it very well. And so I know that these people may wish that it was done then, but anything they come in the future, it will definitely be an easier lift for them to develop or expand their businesses in the way that they would like. So thank you for all the efforts that have been going on and the insistence that was behind it.
Well, I do have to thank the council and city staff for all the encouragement and support. Project definitely wouldn't have gone through without the support of the city manager's office, development services, and finance. The entire departments all have a role to play in this. So lots of support, a lot of buy-in, and a lot of positive things going on.
Well, one thing I want to say, Brian, is you certainly loaded the slingshot and sent this thing down range, because we are moving from a very cumbersome, difficult, slow, snail's pace process into the current century. And as we continue to perfect this, this is going to be something that will serve our community so much better when it comes to enabling businesses to come here and submit the process in a much more rapid sense, and also give them verifiable dates of when things are going to be moving forward in the process. And certainly, as you depart from here tonight and head to Oakland, I remind you to stay safe, but learn as much as you possibly can from the Code for America group that you're going to be meeting with down there, because that's going to be possibly one of the next big links for our community, is to be able to have an open data portal in which people can help develop some apps and other things to even tie into a process like this. So thank you, and work hard down there. Any other questions? Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.